Hey everyone, welcome to the first weekend recap of the new year and the new decade as well, I guess. Thanks for joining me. I'm Adrian, and this week's weekend recap is brought to you by nobody. No sponsor today. If you want to help a boy out during the horrible January CPM days, then grab yourself a shirt or a sweater from my online store. Link in the description, or do nothing at all. That's fine too. A like and a view goes a long way and makes me more than thankful for all of you. I just appreciate spending the time with you and talking with you guys on Twitter. You know, all of you that have joined me over there, which if you haven't, do it. It's the best way to speak directly to me. All right, so Europe is sort of on semi-holiday. Most competitions are back actually, but not all of them. Here's looking at you, Germany. We'll start in England. Speaking of being thankful, as I was, thanks to everyone who watched my video on the small changes Arteta has made to Arsenal so far. Very much appreciated. And Arsenal, they actually played today against the top team in the Championship, Leeds, in round 3 of the FA Cup. There was like a million FA Cup matches over the weekend, so we'll go over the most notable ones now. Sheffield Wednesday, thanks to a goal from Adam Reach in the 65th minute, overcame Brighton, meaning that Wednesday have defeated a top-flight opposition in the FA Cup for the first time in 27 years. Huge accomplishment for them. Up the Owls. I want to see Sheffield Wednesday in the Premier League. Come on, boys. Speaking of the Championship, by the way, and teams getting one over the Premier League boys, Fulham took advantage of Villa's poor form, beating them 2-1 at Craven Cottage. Very, very epic match between Watford and Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere, of course, play in League One, the third tier of English football. Watford, who have been improved by Nigel Ostrich-Pearson, took a 3-0 lead after 34 minutes, only to collapse completely in the second half. 3 goals in 22 minutes for the Merseyside boys. Tranmere brought them level, and they perhaps could have won it as well towards the end. But they earned a replay at home, so there's that. Manchester City eased past Port Vale. Nice to see a youngster like Taylor Harwood-Bellis scoring a goal for them, his first. Wolves versus United, not much to talk about here. 0-0 was the final, so both teams win the prize of having to play yet another match this winter. God, the English schedule is brutal. As Nuno said, he would prefer penalties over another match, and I'm sure many managers would agree with him there. Just look at the toll it's taking on the players. So many injuries. In form, Middlesbrough took on poor form Tottenham, and that match ended in a draw as well, so they earned the same prize as United and Wolves. Derby County, here we go. Another Championship side giving a Premier League side a tough time, and by that I mean they beat them 1-0. They beat Palace. They're eliminated. Chris Martin with the goal for Derby. No, not that, Chris Martin. Chelsea defeated Nottingham Forest 2-0. QPR slapped Swansea 5-1, etc., etc. And the most anticipated match of the round was no doubt the Merseyside derby matchup at Anfield. Liverpool versus Everton. Now, with all the matches that Liverpool have played, well, 2 more than any of the teams that are in European competitions as well, because they have the Club World Cup, Klopp took the opportunity to rest his big guns. They're already out of the Carabao Cup. What would happen this time? I mean, check the lineup out. Elliott, Shiravea, Curtis Jones, a back line of Nico Williams, Nate Phillips, Joe Gomez, and James Milner for about 9 minutes until Milner was subbed off for another youngster, Yasser Larouci. Everton, on the other hand, they went full bore, full strength. The team you would expect to see in the Prem was playing in this FA Cup match against the Liverpool youngsters. Oh, and Minamino got his debut for Liverpool. Tough debut to hand the guy in the FA Cup surrounded by youngsters playing in a derby match. Not easy. And damn it if the kids didn't do just fine against Everton. There were opportunities for the visitors that they blew, a couple of big opportunities, but in the end, it came down to a moment of brilliance from Liverpool's Curtis Jones. One of the most Coutinho goals that I've seen at Liverpool since the Brazilian left, and that was the winner. The unproven children beat the established talent at Everton. And I was talking with my friend Russ, who you guys will remember from the Liverpool banter era discussion video I did, and we were talking about how incredible a team builder Klopp is. He did it at Dortmund, changed them, and now he's done it at Liverpool. And Russ pointed out how the mentality and play style permeates throughout the entirety of the club. These youngsters came in and played similarly to the senior players, and he didn't have to turn to Jordan Henderson and Sadio Mane, who he had on the bench. Now, whenever there's a Merseyside derby, that old Bill Shankly quote always floats around the internet. You know, this city has 2 great teams, Liverpool and Liverpool Reserves. And it was no different this time. Shout out to Ziad. But it was also extremely true. It was basically Liverpool Reserves, or, you know, children against Everton's best boys. That's gotta hurt. In Spain, Barcelona and Real Madrid really are doing a, oh please, I insist, after you for first place, eh? I dig it though. I love a tight title race. Barcelona played in the Derbi Cataloni, which I have a video on, by the way. Did you know that the first ever player to score in La Liga was an RCD Espanyol player? It's true. But anyways, this was a decent watch, this match. Barcelona had this match in the bag for the most part, until Frenkie de Jong lost a bit of control with his fouling. But before that, Luis Suarez's great form has continued after this winter break. He scored the opener, his 11th of the season, then assisted Vidal's goal 9 minutes later to make it 2-1 Barca at that point, a sublime assist with the outside of his boot. But as alluded to, Frenkie de Jong got into some card trouble and was sent off in the 75th minute. 13 minutes later, in the 88th, Chinese striker Wu Lei completely lost Langlais, and Wu Lei's strike was inch perfect into that bottom corner, 2-2 the final. Atletico Madrid played at home against Levante, and they again looked quite poor. You may as well have taken a nap after the first 20 minutes were up, because that's all you needed to see, really. Angel Correa is still in solid form for Atleti. He scored the opener, only for Roger Marti to equalize for Levante, and then Philippe put the hosts back on top. 2-1 Atletico, the final there. They were absolutely saved by Jan Oblak, pun intended. Amazing save to preserve the win. Real Madrid went away to Getafe, which is never easy. Well, at least hasn't been that easy in the last couple of seasons, and while the scoreline was heavily in favor of Madrid, I found that the general play was advantage Getafe, but it's what you do with the ball, I guess, right? Real were happy to counter and stole a couple of goals from set pieces, a brace from Varane. He hasn't always been at his best for Real this season, but he looked great along Eder Militão in the center of Madrid's defense. Getafe just could not break through those two. And finally, in the 96th, Getafe were caught with too many men forward, and Fede Valverde squared to Modric. 3-0 and a great victory for Real. Oh yeah, and a shout out to Thibaut Courtois. Guy gets a lot of abuse, but he's been solid for the majority of the season. And this weekend, no exception. A couple of big saves in that first half. Real Sociedad, future champions, unfortunately fell victim to a 72nd minute Santi Cazorla strike, meaning they lost at home at the Anoeta 2-1 versus Villarreal. No bueno, man. They needed that win to come within just a point of Sevilla. And now with Valencia winning against Eibar and going 5 matches unbeaten, the top of the table looks like this. As I said, Barcelona and Madrid just taking turns in first place, very mature of them. And despite me roasting Atleti for being boring to watch, they have won 3 in a row and are now closing in on the leaders. If they're to hit some form and play a little more attacking, attractive football, watch out. But I mean, Real Madrid has the same defensive record as Atleti, and they aren't boring, so there's a way to have the best of both worlds, for sure. And Atleti haven't quite found that just yet. Maybe with all of the turnover in their squad, that could be a reason why. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. Hey, Italy is back, sort of. They're having most of their matches today, actually Monday for some reason, so there was only 4 matches yesterday on Sunday. For me, the most impressive victory was by Lazio, winning 2-1 thanks to you know who, Ciro, again scoring a late winner in the 91st minute. This man is on fire. Last season he cooled off a bit, the season before that he was fuego, and this season he's fuego again. Before he grabbed a hold of the game though, Mario Balotelli scored for Brescia as he scored the first goal of this decade, just as he scored the first goal of the last decade as well, according to Squawka, of course. But Ciro, wow, we're bringing back the graphics that only the old school subs will remember. He's now scored 19 goals from 17 matches, which is 7 more than second place Romelu Lukaku as things stand. But they've both played 17 matches still. The last player to score this many goals after 17 matches? Nobody. It's a record, as Angelillo came close in 1959 with 18 after 17 matches. That was fun. I want to bring those back more often. I miss doing those. The other notable matchup was between Torino and Roma, playing at the Stadio Olimpico, and it was one of those nights for Roma. You know, shot after shot, drew save after save from Sirigu, who was running God mode in his console commands, I think. Mind you, Roma didn't help themselves, as from their 31 shots, 19 of them were off target, and 5 were blocked. Their finishing was poor, but on another day, they would have absolutely destroyed Torino. Belotti with the brace for the visitors, including a penalty from an unfortunate Chris Smaldini handball, 2-0 Torino. I'm not sure if it's worth showing the table as all the teams still have to play pretty much, but I'll show you anyway, as it's a refresher of the situation here. Juventus and Inter are tied on 42 points, well, despite playing one less match, or at least it will be one less match after the matches today. Lazio are just 3 points behind them. They're unbeaten in 12, having won 9 in a row. The Bundesliga is not back, so let's look to Portugal, where it was a pretty wild weekend with some great fixtures, actually. First up, the new home of Julian Weigl, SL Benfica. They went away to Vitoria Guimaraes. Never an easy place to play. This match was hell to watch, not in a we played poorly kind of way, just in a Vitoria is a great team kind of way. Still, Odysseus had to save us a couple of times, and our only goal, well, the only goal of the match, came from Servi. Oh, and another assist for Pizzi. That's 8 now to go with his 11 goals, and people still try to say he isn't the best in the league right now. It's crazy. Franco Servi was pretty much a dead man walking in regards to his future at Benfica around the summertime, but he's a man reborn in the last couple of months or so. Happy to see him shutting me up and playing well. I thought this man was dead out here. Porto versus Sporting was no doubt the highlight of the weekend for neutrals, as Sporting's improved form was going to be a big test for Porto at the Alvalade. Well, defensive concentration was a big test for Sporting early on, as they conceded an interesting goal just 6 minutes in, scored by Musa Marego. But defensive sleepiness aside, it was a beautiful ball from Corona. Gotta hand it to him. Acuna did level for Sporting, only for Tiki Soares to get the winner for Porto. 2-1 there. My guy, Ruben Amorim, in his managerial debut for Braga, saw his boys smoke Belenenses 7-1. This was bad. The hosts completely fell apart, losing 4-1 at the break, and it only got worse after the half. Horta and Paulinho were immense, involved in 3 goals each. Fonts came off the bench to score a brace. It was just shambolic stuff from the hosts. After starting the season so well and causing everyone to say, hey, who the hell is Famalicão? The team from the north went on a 5-match winless run before the Christmas break. But in their return to action, they got a 3-0 win over Vitoria de Setúbal, Mourinho's team. So, to the standings. Benfica still has a 4-point lead over Porto, while Famalicão, who used to be in the mix, are way off with 27 points alongside Sporting. Vitoria, with just 1 win in their last 6 matches, are 5th, and Braga is about to pass them. Can't wait until those two play each other again, actually, but I'll have to wait until, I think, April. I'll be waiting a while. Okay, that's all from this edition of the Weekend Recap. We'll have some more fun coming your way midweek, and of course, if there's any big transfer news, I'll have a video for you on that, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. It feels like it will be a slow month in that regard. This is me trying to jinx that so we get some action. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and a big thanks to everyone who bought a sweater. When the merch went live last week, it really blew me away, man. You guys are the best. Alright, I love ya, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.